Welcome back to another episode of the Strength and Speed Podcast. I'm your host, Strength and Speed owner and Mudgear Battle Alliance Pro Evan Preparis. I got a guest with me on the line. We're going to skip the episode brought to you by today because we're going to be talking about brands the entire episode. Got a person I haven't had on in a while, and we've got Brenna back on. Brenna, welcome back.
Woohoo! Yeah, it feels like it's been a year plus or so.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute, but we don't have Brenna Calvert on. We have someone else. We have Brenna Jost. So why don't you share obviously the big news?
Well, yeah. So obviously with that name change, that means finally got hitched. So the Mr. Tracy and I tied the knot. I guess it's been 2 months. As of tomorrow will be 2 months ago. So September 11th. We tied the knot here in Kansas, and Evan, you were actually a part with your family, as always, part of it. So that was fun, and yeah, that's the biggest news and update and change to my life.
Yeah, and it was so weird to see. There's a ton of OCR people there, and no one was in race clothes. And like every time I saw someone, it took my mind an extra 5 seconds to be like, who is this person? Oh, I know who that is. But it's just like, because no one's in spandex or muddy or, everyone's like cleaned up wearing suits or cowboy chic. It was kind of the
theme. That's what, I mean, to like do some name dropping, that's what we had. It was crazy as photographer Jack Gross was there from OCR Photography, and we had Mark Ballas, Steve Mainprize, you, Jacob Stone, Daniel Leonard, Michael Howell. So it was a variety of Nathan. Yeah, teammate Nathan was there, and it was a blast to see everybody all dressed up, and even people took on the whole theme of, we didn't even tell people to, but a lot of people took on cowboy boots and cowboy hats.
Yeah, I do not own cowboy boots or cowboy hats, so I passed on that. But
it's okay. You did your part by surprising all of us with your other talents.
You can share, I guess. You can go ahead and share.
Yeah, I shared a video. I need to find it and share it again because I haven't shared it enough. But along with Evan being a CR athlete and an author and a podcast host and all that jazz, he apparently can rap, lip sync, and break dance because he whipped out of nowhere break dancing and rapping every single word and like jumping up and down to Vanilla Ice. It was insane. That was like the craziest part. The wedding was amazing from start to finish, but that was quite the unexpected moment, let's just say.
So I think I've mentioned on the podcast before, like that's my go-to karaoke song, but like, I didn't quite explain exactly what that means. And
yeah,
so
no, there's a difference between karaoke where you have like a screen and you're reading words and stuff. There was no karaoke screen at our wedding. This was just like completely out of the blue, and I don't know if it was prompted. I think you said Jacob or something. I don't even know how it happened, but
so me and Daniel are standing there talking, and the song comes on, and Daniel like raps the beginning of it, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is like my jam, this is like my go-to, and he's like, yeah, cool. And we're standing there, and then my wife comes over, and she's like, why aren't you dancing? And Daniel's like, what? You're serious? He's like, all right, you come with me. And he goes back up, and he's like, I'm going to get a mic for you. And I was like, no, it's not. And like, so we walk up there, and the song's essentially ending. And I'm like, well, I can't sing it. The song's over. And Daniel's like, again, spin it again. So they played it back to back. And then I sang the second time. And there was a great picture. God. I don't know who took it of you, like, you have your back to me and you have this like shocked face and the camera's like off angle and I'm like, it looks like I'm rapping very hard. So
yeah, there was some definite moment. I don't think I've even shared because I haven't even finished. I've got probably like over 1,000 photos between the two photographers, and I've been sharing blips like of different moments, and I haven't even gotten to like the party part. And so I don't think I've even officially gotten to that part yet. So still to come, maybe after this airs, I'll reference it with those photos.
Speaking of which, I owe you a video, and Jacob Stone, if you're listening to this, I do need the other half of the video. So Jacob has a bunch of the video, or his wife or his daughter, I'm not sure who has the actual file. I need that to put it together. And I'm putting on the podcast, 1, to remind him, and 2, so I'm held accountable. Long story short, Brenda's like, hey, can you videotape the wedding? I don't want someone messing up. I know you'll do a good job. And I was like, got it. So I'm live streaming it on Strength and Speed. and it's September. It's kind of warm. We're in the sun, and like 10 minutes in, my phone overheats and literally shuts down. And it's like, is this an emergency? I'm like, yes, this is an emergency. I'm like tapping the emergency button. It's like, would you like to call 911? I was like, no, just make my phone work. So like I grabbed my wife's phone. Anyway, the video's on like 4 different phones because it was, oh man, it was a disaster. But we'll get it eventually. And it'll be more exciting to watch after you haven't seen it for a couple of months.
Exactly. It's like spacing out the memories back to back.
All right, so let's get to today's episode. So what I wanted to do was I want to do like a Black Friday, Cyber Monday kind of shopping guide. And we don't know the sales that are going to be going on Black Friday or Cyber Monday, but we do know a lot of great OCR products. And we have, a lot of friends and a lot of experience in OCR. So, if you're listening to this or you want to make your spouse listen to this or your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, maybe a friend, maybe someone who's been, helping you out or you stayed at their place for a race, whatever. Now, I wanted to give them like a whole bunch of gift buying ideas. So we're going to kind of run through a bunch of brands, kind of start from the feet and go to your head and then go to some support things. And we'll cover not only like product, but also like gift ideas. Because I know like I move a lot for the Army, so I've got a lot of like stuff. So sometimes I don't want stuff. I want something that's useful, but still kind of interested in my main hobby, which is obstacle course racing. So let's start at the feet, right? Because our feet are probably the most important part for racing, because most of OCR is running. And so, Brenna, give me some thoughts on some of your favorite shoe brands and kind of why you would, what you'd look for if you were getting a gift from someone relating to OCR shoes.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's always, I feel like, the biggest conversation that people ask is like, what shoes should I wear? And of course, I always start by saying that it's like your foot is different. Obviously, it's different for every person and what you're looking for. But I have to say, after 8 years of doing this, my all-time favorite and go-to from day one, brand-wise, was always and always has been Innovate. And I say that because I love that I feel like they have such a variety of different styles for that brand. Like they've got trail, OCR specific. There's ones just kind of more for like lifting in the gym, road running, track running, all of that. So that they have different toe boxes, different drops, you name it. With that brand, you can find what you're looking for. And then I feel like Innovate is kind of also carried in like the running stores. It's like a known, reputable brand. It's been around for years. You see it everywhere. So that was always my go-to and what I ran in for like 6 years. And I still have them. I could take them out of the box and not have to break them in. I ran OCR WC the first year it was in Canada, straight out of the box, brand new shoes. Mud claws, loved them, up and down the mountain, no blisters, no issues. But I did just recently switch after, I don't know, when it's kind of one of those like hype things, like when you see so many people trying the shoes, you're just like, okay, I have to try it now because everybody else has. Like I want to see what the talk's about. So I had always seen, or not always, past couple years, seen Salming at Savage Races. So I finally jumped on board and tried their OCR specific OT comp and absolutely loved them. Lightweight, really good drainage, never slipped or had an issue. So they were another like close second to Innovate, but I've found they're a bit harder to, it's a UK or Scottish. No, shit. Where are they from? I don't know. You're a European-based brand.
Yeah, and that's Salming. That's not Salmon. So
Salming. Yeah, so there's definitely, Salming, ING. They're great, but they're harder. They're not like as common everywhere type of thing, if that makes sense when you're like shopping for your shoes. So,
yeah.
That's what I got. Those are my two go-to. I haven't really tried too many others. I tried another brand that is like everybody's favorite right now that, I mean, I just wasn't a huge fan of, but I've only tried one of their models. So I can't really speak to the most popular these days.
I'm assuming that was VJ. Would you try the Extreme? Which model?
Yeah, I think was that the first one that came out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember trying them, and I just think it was sizing, I think, was like small, and I had issues with sizing, and I don't know, just really nothing like they didn't jump out at me compared to Innovate, basically. But I know others like swear by them, and I know isn't that what you are kind of sporting these days?
Yeah, primarily. So, I started off with Icebug was kind of my go-to for short distance. They don't have a lot of cushioning, and they were kind of around at OCR from the beginning, but they had some really good traction on them, I thought. To me, VJ has even better traction and better cushioning, and is basically an overall better shoe. So, I still have like a pair of Icebugs that I just like I think I have like a brand new pair that I essentially bought and then was kind of holding on to for a future. Because once I find a pair of shoes I like, I don't like switching. So sometimes I like stock up. So I actually, I primarily race in VJs now, but not the extreme model because I think it's too narrow for me. Again, it's your foot's going to be very, everyone's foot is unique. So you need to find a brand that has a foot model similar to yours. And there's no way to know that unless you try on their shoes or go for a run in them. So like I owned a pair of Salming. I thought they were good. Not great. They seem to fit okay. And I own a pair of Innovate. I think they're Talons. And to me, they don't fit well. They're a little too narrow, or they cause blisters on my heel. I can't remember what the issue was, but I've owned them for years, and they've been worn like twice.
See, and that's what, like you said, I mean, we both just talked about, the same brand and how I liked it and you didn't. And so that's why, like you said, I find, I'm pretty sure VJ is probably pretty good with their policy and their customer support, I've heard, to be able to like try and it doesn't fit, send it back. I don't know for sure. But I will say like Innovate, find a brand that is good at being able to return because shoes, again, it's different. So if you can't try them on in person, that's what you need to look for brand wise. Is that something that's like good about being able to try them on and send them back? So
yeah. And I still actually own not Mudgear, Merrill All Out Crush, which was like the Tough Mudder shoe a couple of years ago.
What happened to Merrill? Like, are they even? I had a pair of Merrill and I like them, but I don't. Are they still even?
I mean, they're still doing stuff. They invested in Tough Mudder / OCR for a little while, and I guess I don't know what the deal they had going with Tough Mudder, but I guess they feel like they tapped that market pretty good. But what's interesting about the shoe market I've noticed is the OCR, because shoes only last like a year, depending on how often you race. I feel like as soon as a brand stops advertising in that field, someone else will just come in, right? So it was like everyone was wearing Under Armour for a little bit, when they were partnered with Tough Mudder, and then like, OCRWC came around with Icebug, and everyone switched to Icebug, and then like Merrill came around, everyone switched to Merrill, and then VJ came, and everyone switched to VJ. It's been like so.
Well, yeah, and that's the same with, like, I think Salming was Savage, and now I don't think because I think they got rid of it. They might have gotten rid of their, like, U.S. line, honestly, like, based. So I don't think they even, are a Savage sponsor anymore. So, yeah, it's kind of like a seasonal thing, really, with shoes. So it's hard. That's why VJ's at least stuck around for a couple seasons now, I feel like. And then, like I said, Innovate's been around because there are other sports, too, so...
Yeah, and I like the Max and the Ultra are my two favorite for VJ. They're a little bit wider toe box, a little bit more cushioning, and yeah, I recommend one of those two models. I haven't tried they came out with sequels to them, so like the Max 2 or the Ultra 2. I haven't tried the sequels yet, but because my other ones have still lasted. So anyway, if you're looking to buy shoes for someone as a gift, I would actually recommend just buying a gift card for that specific brand. Find out what brand they like and buy the gift card, because again, people get really picky, as you just heard. Between shoes, right? So, all right, let's jump, continuing of the body, let's move up to, still on the feet, but socks. I can guess what you're going to say, but go ahead.
First of all, like, do we really even need to talk about this? But of course we do. Hands down, no argument, and I was trying to think of, like, a second alternative, but nope, Mudgear all the way. And I say this because, again, been wearing them, like, since, 8 years ago, and I wear them every day, y'all, and I haven't raced in, like, over a year. So they have all the different, like, styles now. They definitely grew from just the original tall compression, which they still have, which is amazing for what it is, the compression, protecting the legs. But I wear every day the ankle socks. Like, I just absolutely love them. They're comfortable, moisture wicking, thick enough to be thick, but thin enough to be thin. Like, it's just a good moderate sock. So when I wear boots every day, that's my go-to sock. And then, they have the no-show. They've come out with their newer models in the past year or so, a little bit more, but spacing them out. I mean, they have the ruck sock, the hiking sock, and I think now a biking, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
I don't know specifics on the details of what makes those different, those three, because I think they're all like a crew height, but I think they have different thicknesses and then like padding in different areas. But again, you can't go wrong with mud gear. They've come out with new colors. There's race designs. And then, I mean, they'll be brought back up later for me once we move up the body. But yeah, I don't even mention another sock company. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I mean, mud gear, they've also come out with screen printed designs. So the older ones, like the CTG version, the Savage one, Green Beret Challenge, where like the fabric is actually, the thread is actually a different color, where they now can do kind of the screen printing designs where you can get a lot more details into there. So essentially the back of the sock is white and the front of the sock is colored, right? So if you were at OCR World Championships, you saw they made like mirrored versions of the Legend-born jerseys, essentially on the sock based off the country. And then they partnered with VJ too, and they did socks that match your VJ shoes, which was, I thought, like look really cool because VJ has some kind of unique colors that they made a match. So yeah, mud gear, all the way. I have raced, or I have tried out 2 different other brands. I've tried, my sponsor Hammer Nutrition used to have Swiftwick socks, and those were good. They just felt kind of thin, so I feel like they didn't quite last as long as mud gear. And I've tried out Exoskin too, and I think those are great too. But again, they feel they're thin, right? So the Exoskin and the Swiftwick are both great, I'd say, road running and trail running if you're not going to be in a lot of mud. When with OCR, we get rocks and mud and all sorts of stuff in my shoe. Or like, I don't want a super thin sock where I'm going to be able to feel every little like granule of sand there. So, mud gear. 100%.
I will say, well, the other one that I tried that actually I can say goes good with if you're doing like long distances. I don't know your take on this, but I've only done a long distance once. And my 40 miles that I did was how do you say Injinji? How do you say that?
Yeah.
The little toe socks.
Sure. The toe socks.
So I will say that, like, if you're running, what worked for me for my distance was I had the Injinji, I think INJ. I'll have to double check it. We'll tag them. But they're toe socks, very thin, and I wore them as like a base layer sock, of course, under my mud gear. So if that's something you're looking for, I'll mention that brand when we post this, and that way you can look up for something like a base layer also.
Yeah. Anyway, mud gear, 100%. I would go with them. And if you're going to be at World, well, this will be out after World Toughest. Anyway, hopefully you saw the mud gear tent we had there in my pit area, little banners and stuff like that. Because I got John Coley, who's going to be at World Toughest with me. All right, let's move up the body to, shorts / leggings / pants. What would be your recommendation for people? Oh, also mud gear has gift cards if you're not sure. But I think for socks, people change out so much that buying someone a pair of socks, I think, it's a good call. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So for like, I have 2 go-to brands. One, they both go away. So like mud gear, again, for women, for capri leggings that are good, like for race day. Actually, I wear them for training and long runs anyways. But the mud gear capri leggings for women have pockets in them, which are great on the side for like your goos and gels or whatever. They have a drawstring to tie. There's a little zipper pocket in the back. And they also have like a double layer kind of, it's thin on your knees just for that extra coverage for like crawls and things like that. So I love their leggings, capris. And then they have a longer, looks similar to like the length of like a bike short. But they're, again, I'd say for race day, amazing because that way you can avoid chafing, but they've got pockets on them also. And then Highlight, I know like you'll agree with this also, would be my other go-to for training and racing because they just basically I love their shorts. They have a couple different models of women's shorts that are great, like kind of like the shorter running short length models that have slits on the side. They have pockets equipped, and they're also good styles. Like they look cute. They have good looking options and other clothing options too. but I can race and train in high elite. And then I'd say the mud gear stuff is really good for race day.
Yeah, agreed. Both those. For the longest time, Mud Gear only had compression shorts for ladies, and they finally came out with the male version this year, which was super exciting to see. And I wore them for OCR Everest when they were like, I mean, I think I'd worn them once before that. And I'm not going to wear something for a 24-hour plus event unless it works, right? So I went with the Mud Gear shorts. They have that zipper pocket in the back, which I really like. And at first I was like, oh yeah, you can fit a couple of gels in here. But I guess I hadn't really like stretched out the pocket enough because it goes like the length of your, like the width of your back there. So you can cram, I haven't tried to see how many gels I can fit in there, but you could cram a lot in there because I put my keys in there once and they like ended up all the way like almost to my hip. And I was like, where's my keys? So yeah, Mud Gear compression are great. And then Mud Gear also has shorts, which I wouldn't wear for OCR, but if you're not a spandex compression type person, they would be good for OCR. Whatever. They also have the zipper in the back and they also have pockets. So I really like those because you can wear, like if you're going to the gym, but then you're going someplace else after, you have pockets, but you can also wear them for a run. And then for longer compression, again, I have high elite for the long compression pants, which I like. They are really thin. So you're going to want to wear like underwear underneath. And like either, like I essentially have a high elite compression underwear shorts. And I also have a Mud Gear compression underwear shorts. I think they can discontinue the Mud Gear ones. But both of those work great as like a base layer underneath the high elite compression pants. But just the high elite compression shorts or just the high elite compression pants alone is too thin and inappropriate to wear in public. I'll just say that. So
let's remind people sometimes the guys at the start line.
Forget Ashton is like, oh yeah, I wear those on runs. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, I've worn them on runs, like on a treadmill in my garage. I was like, but you
the
can't.
name that comes to mind, and this isn't bashing because it was just always funny, but we should check with Matt Mutter and see how he wears his because I just remember his A8.
Oh yeah. So that's another brand, right? So Marina Sport, heavily, or they were called Athletics Aid originally. They switched names to Marina Sport. They were heavily involved in OCR for the first, I felt like the first couple of years of the sport, and then they. About 3 years ago, they transitioned into basically focusing on their medical compression gear. So
yeah, well, and that's what I was going to say because I think that's how they originally started was the medical side. Yeah. And then I think they went back to focusing because, I mean, that's what I do miss it, though, because it was what they called medical grade compression. And it's like, what does that mean? But when you see what they make now, like for women that have, I mean, I can't even say like stomach surgery or even like a breast surgery or any type of like they have these sports bras and they have these different compression things that like are actually used in the hospitals, you know, for medical healing. And I'm like, I do miss them as athletic.
Yeah.
Marina Sport A8. And I think you can still get this stuff. So, I mean, that'd be something worth looking at if you want like some heavy duty, really good compression gear. It's just Marina now. It's not Marina Sport.
Yeah, Marina compression.
But they might
still follow their social media. Do you still follow their social media?
I mean, I feel like I never unfollowed it, but it's one of those things that I probably haven't clicked on it in a year to be in the algorithm stuff. I don't know.
They've got
see them pop up.
They've got some weird stuff on there because it's all medical post-surgery stuff. I mean, I don't even know how to describe some of the things I've seen on there. I'm like, what am I looking at? You know, like where it's compressing the top, but then it's like open near the crotch. You're like,
okay, yeah, okay, I have seen.
You're like, what am I? Yeah, because it's for people who had surgery, right? But you still got to use the bath, you know. So it is some funny looking stuff. You're like, I need to wear this to the start line of a race.
Yeah, like what fight did I stumble on?
So, but yeah, they were really good. I would say my two kind of issues with it. One, they're expensive. So if you want to get something that's premium, right? Like I think Mud Gear runs what, $40, $50? I'm not even sure off the top of my head. It's not super expensive though. The Marina was like 120 or something, so it was expensive.
Like the leggings. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then they were so tight because the medical grade is supposed to be a little bit tighter on the compression. They were so tight.
Couldn't make it without a tear.
I still have a bunch of Marina that I'll wear, but almost all of them are sewn up in some spot because I drag my butt across an obstacle literally, and I will catch the one slightly jagged edge and it just rips my pants open. So
yeah.
So, which I'm sure again, we're recording this a couple days before World's Toughest. I'm sure I will rip my shorts again because that's my MO.
Yeah. So I would say out of Mudgear and Highlead, I'd recommend Mudgear would be more, I mean, again, they don't have as many options, but I'd say on the more reasonably lesser priced.
Yeah.
Highlead's not expensive, but I'd say they're a little bit more expensive than Mudgear, but there's way more options, I think.
Agreed,
at least on the girl side. I don't know about guys, like style-wise options.
Yeah. And if you're going to go for warm-ups, Highlead 100%. They are... Yeah. I'm wearing Highlead pants right now. They're the softest pants I own. I don't know how many pairs, 4 different pairs of their pants, 5 different pairs of their pants.
I mean, I'm jumping around the body. Evan wears like a whole suit. He'll be in like full head to toe Highlead.
I will be. It's funny. Yeah. Yeah. I love Highlead. They're everything's so soft. It's my
yeah. I haven't had a complaint. Like their leggings. Oh, I mean, I agree. And they're top quality made. Like things are made really nice. Like I have leggings that have lasted for a couple like seasons, and that's racing multiple times in them and still training in them. So definitely kudos to Highlead. So
when we were sponsored by Marina, Ashley Samples still wore Highlead leggings because she was I refuse to wear anything else. They're too comfortable. And she's like, every time they go on sale, she'd like post about it. She's like, these are on sale right now. Everyone go buy some. So yeah. Highly recommend Highlead. Super comfortable. Yeah. We'll don't want to skip over the crotch, so we're going to touch on chafing real quick.
Oh yeah.
And, in the past I've used Vaseline because it's cheap and you can buy a giant tub of it. Since then I've switched over to Squirrel's Nut Butter, which I think is a better product. One because it's designed for racing, right? So it's designed by athletes. So versus just like some random goop, which I don't even know what Vaseline is.
Like
but Squirrel's Nut Butter is good, and since I've been using them, I've had no chafing problems. So like historically at World's Toughest, I would still get chafing problems even with Vaseline, but with Squirrel's Nut Butter, I've had nothing. So.
Yeah, no, I use them. I've got my picture comes to mind from OKC Continuum, where it's just like fun to put it on because you're just like rubbing your legs up high, kind of, awkwardly. But it comes in a nice little deodorant stick. It was awesome for that. But I will, again, I'm getting back, I swear, you guys. I took this year off mainly for like wedding funding and planning and sanity. But I used all of this stuff that we're talking about like forever outside of OCR. I still continue to use it. So take that in mind, because the Squirrel's Nut Butter, I was at Nathan's wedding actually earlier in July, and I was running around in his July Kansas outside wedding. It was like July 2nd to be exact. And I was running up to Nathan and I was like, do you have any of your Squirrel's Nut Butter with you? And he's like, no, why? I was like, because I'm really sweaty. I was like, I need that now. And no one had it. So I was really upset. Just saying.
Yeah, it's a great product. I forgot what I was going to say about it. Good stuff, though.
Well,
and, they're great for stocking stuffers, right? So, like, you can buy a $25 thing of Squirrel's Nut Butter, or you can buy, like, a $3 one, right? So if you need some, like, little presents to kind of round out a gift, I think that's a great option.
Good idea there.
All right, keep moving up the body, upper body. So chest, sports bra, jersey, shirt, etc.
So underneath layer for the women being sports bra first, I would say, oh man, who's my go-to? Highlead really has awesome sports bras. To be honest, I recommend Highlead for sports bras. They're the best quality, option-wise. And then to be honest, I've seen more and more girls kind of nowadays, like, I'd rather my other option, and it's not necessarily an OCR brand, but Walmart sports bras, because honestly, let's be real, sports bras are the things I think girls like use the most on a daily basis when training, and then racing, you're just getting them dirty and reusing, and you go through them often. So like if you're not looking for something to wear that, like say you wear a jersey or a shirt on top and you don't want something like super flashy, a Walmart sports bra will do you just fine. I say that because of the cost. But also, if you're looking for quality or style, I highly recommend, and then again, overall, this is like one end of the spectrum to the other, would be Highlead, because I mean, you just can't go wrong. There's good, like different impacts. For guys, you don't understand this, but there's light impact, medium impact, heavy impact for like the amount of training or the heavy running or obstacles or whatever you're doing. So I'd recommend highly. Or again, if you're looking for a generic, don't care about the price or what it looks like, go to Walmart because they really have upped their game at Walmart, to be honest, and you can get your bang for your buck there. So.
Gotcha. I have no input on the sports bra market.
Come on.
I think I actually did do a sports bra video a couple years ago, and it was the most educational video I've ever seen for OCR. I was like, I had no idea about all these considerations. But
yeah,
she was talking about like padding and I don't know, like if it's removable or not and benefits. I was like,
cups and pads and all that. There's just so much, but again, it's really annoying because. Again, I feel like for girls, a sports bra is kind of like, could be like a shoe. Like, it's just really kind of up to you and like what your body size type figure is and what you're looking for, thin straps, thick straps. Another one, actually, I will say, I like them more so for, like, I'd say more like the hybrid races. Deca High Rocks, Born Primitive, they're like known for CrossFit brand, but their sports bras are really good for like heavy workouts and lifts and that type of stuff. So that's another one, but they're really expensive. So I'd say they're more expensive than Highlight because I don't consider Highlight being expensive. But after the sports bras, women for tops, just kind of like shirts, race tops, moisture wicking tops. I know I sound redundant, but again, this is coming from someone that's been doing this for 8 years. I've tried different brands and I go back to Mudgear, always almost. They have sleeveless tank type jerseys to run in. They have short sleeves and they have a long sleeve. So, I mean, like, what more do you want when you're looking for a top? They got moisture wicking. Around the bottom, there's like a band, that helps it kind of like stay down or stay closer, like stay on your leggings, like stick in a way, if that makes sense, so it doesn't roll up. There's different color options. You can get the Mudgear logo. Yeah, so, I mean, you can go 100 different options with like your choice of top, to be honest, but that's my go-to. And then I honestly haven't raced in the jerseys, like Legendborn and Akuma and all of that in a couple of seasons since being on the team, probably. So I really couldn't I wouldn't recommend anything at this point, to say, honestly, from my standpoint.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I feel like those would have changed by now, so.
To me, the Mudgear is always it's a thinner material. It feels like more breathable. So if I'm racing someplace a little bit hot and I was going to wear a shirt, I would tend to go with the Mudgear. The Legendborn still a little bit thicker, and it's a nicer product. So I like the Legendborn as like a post race podium type of thing, or like just wearing around the festival or like World's Toughest Mud or brunch type stuff. But the Mudgear I think is better for like on course and hot weather, and Legendborn is if the weather's a little bit cooler. I would, and I'm racing in a shirt, I would probably go with Legendborn there. Or I specifically want that look, right? The Legendborn is a very unique look. They're very nicely designed jerseys. I mean, we've used them for years. We switched to Akuma for a little while and then switched back to Legendborn because the Legendborn, at the end of the day, had better designs. That's
definitely the look and the flare and the flash is there with that for sure.
And Legendborn's a great gift. So I've used it. I've used it as a gift for my dad. I've used it as a gift for one of my pit crews, right? So it's because they're pricey, but you can customize them, right? So you can put someone's name on the back, or you can put something about pit crew, or they even have like versions where you can recognize people's accomplishments. So I remember those the Define Your Legacy campaign they had, where you could put like several lines of text on the back. So it could be a cool gift for someone who's done a lot of racing or had like a really good year racing, and you kind of like recap their year on their jersey, something like that. So lots of good options for gifts, especially, again, with the price of Legendborn, you essentially can buy just that, and then that'll be your gift for them for the year, or for Christmas or whatever. So, and they usually do a small sale. They usually don't have big discounts, but they usually do a small scale on Black Friday or Cyber Monday. So, and Mudgear always has good sales Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It's usually like a package thing where like you buy whatever couple socks, you get a couple socks free or something like that. So I would keep an eye out for them. And then for tops, I'm going to go with, again, sound like a broken record here, Hylete, super soft, right? That's kind of more of my race warm-up top. I think we've talked about them enough. And then for like cold weather or for pit crew, I got to go with Aurora, right? The heated jackets, the heated vests are super nice. Again, they're pricey. So it's, anywhere, depending on which style you buy, between like $150, $250 in that price range. But it is a really nice product, and it works great even when you're not using the electronic heating. And then they just came out with some new batteries. I think I wrote a review on OCR Buddy for them. If anyone wants to check that out, it's just a smaller battery, lasts a little bit longer. So that's great.
I can actually say, I forgot that I got lucky from you, and I used the gift card and got Tracy a vest from them for his birthday. And I actually had to send him back and get a bigger size, but with Tracy working cattle and outside, basically 365, I wanted him to try this before I did. And he was all like, "Oh, I have something from like one of the sponsors before you do." And I was like, "Oh, shut up." But he got the new battery, but I don't know the difference because I haven't had the old one. So
yeah, it's not something
he got. He loves it.
It's not something you're gonna like feel per se, but it is like, if you're going on a long trip or a long race, you can bring 2 batteries instead of 1, right? And then you can change out, if it will. I think it only lasts like 6 hours on high or something like that. So
yeah. Basically, I'm looking to get one of those for myself. So like those of y'all shopping, I think if you live somewhere cold or you're racing cold, definitely want to check them out because I've been jealous seeing Evan and the bottle protein. Is that who y'all have? Yeah. Seeing that for a while that I'm like, okay. And they have a scarf and there's like a jacket and a vest. So there's different options there. So yeah. I'd recommend gifting that to someone for sure, or a gift card to that.
Brenna won one of our giveaways, and I was like, this seems fixed. I don't like that. Which it was because you had to tag someone, and you could enter as many times as you wanted. And Brenna made up like 50%. She tagged like 100 people.
I just kept watching the number of comments. So I was like, I got this.
Which increased her chance to win, and she did win. So, persistence pays off.
Tis the season because now it's like the holiday season, so everybody gets ready for all those like giveaway posts where you constantly tag people. Yeah. I know if Ashley tags me, it's almost always we're giveaway tag buddies.
Nice.
So are we still talking about like outerwear type of jackets and stuff?
Yeah, we can touch on that before we get onto hands and head.
Okay, so I guess this would be a bigger ticket item, and I kind of have to defer to you for a question. I haven't seen much from them, but like Dry Robe, again, I know more of a European-based company, but I still swear by mine, and I actually use it around the ranch daily now that we drive around in our side-by-side. So that's my, like, for years, the Dry Robe, whether it was summer or winter, that thing traveled with me in the car or even overseas because if it was raining or you never really knew what was going on, that thing was amazing for changing, dressing, covering yourself, and staying warm. But I don't know if like they're still around as much or what's going on with that, honestly.
Yeah, they're still around. I really like Dry Robe too. The benefits of Dry Robe over Aurora is Dry Robe is a longer product, right? So it'll cover your legs a little bit. So kind of like between laps, if you're doing a relay race, I think that might be a better option. But Aurora has the actual heat in there, so that's a better option for that. Dry Robe takes a lot more space in your bag. Aurora
I wouldn't say it's more. I'd say or how do you say it? Aurora.
Yeah.
Aurora. I get tongue twisted. Would be more your like everyday or more convenient.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
And then Dry Robe would be like race specific, special event races, longer races. So if you're lucky enough to get one or gift one or be gifted one, then like treasure that with your life.
I use my Aurora more day to day, week to week, and my Dry Robe I actually use as a couch blanket. So my 2 Dry Robes are in my basement, and we use them as blankets essentially.
There you go. Yeah.
So And then occasionally I'll bring, like I brought one to toughest mudder for when we were strength and speed. We came in third earlier this year. So
Do
yeah.
you not have your dry robe with you this year?
No, so I just got my Aurora with me. So I'm not running relay, so there's less of a need to wrap myself. And
Gotcha. Yeah.
I got
You
so
don't
much
stop.
stuff. I got so much stuff.
I got it. I got it.
So, but if you do buy a dry robe, and I know dry robe has compression bags, or you can just have someone gift someone if they have a dry robe, buy them a compression sack that you'd use on a sleeping bag. That's a good gift too, because then they can pack it a little more efficiently. So another quick recommendation. And I know almost all these brands, like I know Aurora has gift cards too. So if you don't want to buy like the full jacket for someone, or you're not sure what style or size they want, you can always buy them a gift card, and severely cuts down the cost, if not eliminate it. Hands. I think we know what I'm about to say. So hands, obviously Bleg mitts, best gloves you can buy for OCR, right? It's the only glove that was designed for obstacle course racing. So that would be my recommendation, designed by world champion Deanna Bleg. And obviously you can pick them up at teamstrengthspeed.com. I am about to run out of extremes, probably be out by the time this podcast comes out. May have some small extremes left. Not expecting a resupply on the extremes until January, but we did just get a resupply of the lights. So, which I actually think is the better glove for, like, if I wasn't doing World's Toughest every year, lights would be the first thing I'd buy, because they are more versatile. Like I can use my light on a training run and my hands don't get super hot. Lights, to me, is the better product for like OCR World Championships, for most cold weather OCRs. Extremes are exactly what I described them for. They're for extreme cases, right? World's Toughest Mudder, Spartan Iceland, really cold, toughest mudders, like snow races, like Abominable Snow Race or Casey Timber or Yeti, when there's actually snow on the ground. So yeah,
and I can attest, as someone that does not sell them, that's my go-to. I personally like to advocate and tell people when they ask about gloves. I say gloves are not, like, OCR is not a glove sport. Like, you shouldn't be wearing gloves on obstacles.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's why the Bleg mitt is amazing, because if you don't know what it is, it's like a mitten. It goes over your hand completely, but then you fold it back for when you're doing obstacles. So you have like your actual grip and your actual hand available. And then you just flip it back over when you're done and you're taking off on your run. Or like is it the Extreme that's got the watch hole?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I have the Extremes. And for being someone that honestly doesn't do any of those extreme events, I love them because Kansas winters suck. And again, I tell you, I use these gloves when I'm at the ranch and like when we're working cattle, because with most gloves, you can't function or you can't do anything with them or like touch your phone. I mean, I know they make those phone screen, whatever gloves, but no. So I use these all the time because you can, again, flip them over, have your hand available, and then flip them back. And like, again, your hand will sweat if you wear them too long. Like, they're amazing. So I wouldn't recommend another glove for OCR because the rest cover your hands completely. And I don't think that's how you should. I don't think that benefits you ever on an obstacle. So
yeah, same. Yeah.
I won't get into that can of worms.
Good for obviously OCR, good for regular runners, good for, soccer players who have to do, like, the ball goes out of bounds, you got to do a throw. You throw the ball in without having to take off gloves. Good for hunting, good for photography, if you want that dexterity. Good for anything where you're in cold weather and then you need quick access to
I didn't even think about how soccer that would play a part. That's nifty. That would be handy because like soccer gets cold.
Yeah. So, a lot of good options, especially if if you're from the OCR community, but you have a friend who does one of those other activities I just named, or a bunch of other ones, tailgating, go to a football game, right, where it's freezing, and then you still want access to your hands occasionally to open chips and whatever else you do. I don't know. Drink open a can of beer.
It's like, keep on going, Evan. Let me hear you talk about this.
I got to. So speaking of football, there's a bunch of people from the Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs, that took a tour of Fort Riley last week. So I helped give a tour to a bunch of like football executives, Like,
and were you like the only one who had no idea who?
I had no idea what we're talking about. People are making football references, and I'm like, I got nothing here. Like, I know Patrick Mahomes is, but they seemed more interested in the fact that I was like, yeah, I've run obstacle course races for 24 hours, and they were like, what? I blew a couple of minds with that. So, but yeah. Anyway, back to
watches.
Watches. Oh, good one. I almost skipped over that. Yeah. You can go first.
So I swear by and love Suunto for my go-to OCR watch. I've had a couple different models. I mean, I'd maybe a bit pricier than some because I think like Garmin, you know, there's way more models of like less stuff. I like Suunto because it's like a multi-sport. I mean, they have Bluetooth capability, so it can be a smartwatch also if you want that function. But then otherwise, they just have like every extreme function possible for the watch to withstand all sports: water, swimming, cold, heat. So that's why I like them. I've never had an issue with my Suunto watches. They've lasted for seasons, years. The battery's always been a good battery life for me. So, I mean, all around. But I will say I have not personally tried another brand outside of my Samsung phone, like watch that I have. So I haven't tried an actual different sport watch. I've always had Suunto since I started OCR. So, but that's my go-to and my recommendation.
I've never used Suunto for GPS. I had a Suunto for Ranger School, which just had like a compass and altimeter on there. So that was like the hotness in Ranger School. It's like you get a Suunto watch, and honestly, mostly because you sit in security so much, like just staring into the woods, like it gives you something to fiddle with.
There you go.
Well,
I have to name drop. I mean, if you're like, you know, a follower of the sport and you like cool things, then, I mean, the Atkins their dog is named Suunto, so obviously there's some other people that think that's a pretty cool watch.
Yeah, I'm always been a Garmin guy. I really like their interface, and then that's the reason. Like a GPS watch is good as long as it does, you know, track. Most of them have advanced to the point where like even the base models do what the advanced models used to do a couple years ago. So, you know, and honestly, the really expensive models, unless you're buying it for something very sport specific, you probably are not like I have a Forerunner 935 Garmin watch, and it does so much, and all I do is like I'm going for a run, and it's going to tell me my splits and my resting heart rate, and like that's about it. It's got like 100 functions. I use like 4 of them. So, but I really like Garmin's interface and its ability to customize the interface. That being said, I've also used Amazfit Trex. I always want to say T-Rex, but I think it's Trex. That one's pretty good too. I like that. It did some things kind of, one of the things I really liked, it connected an app to your phone, and then it would show you like your heart rate through the night, and it kept track of a lot of your sleep data. I thought that was really interesting. Had some good data points there. Only it is like a China-backed company, so I was a little bit sketchy on that. But you know, I was like, I guess China knows what I'm doing in my sleep now. It's just not much.
Right.
But that kind of sketched me out. But as a product, it was good, and for its price point, I can't remember how much it cost now, but I remember at the time I was like, oh, this is a lot for like its price. I was like, this can't be right. But yeah.
Well, and I'll bounce back to Garmin as someone that doesn't have one. I'll say that's kind of the most seen watch that I'm like jealous that I don't have, or I say that I've had my current Suunto for a good bit, and I kind of say sometimes maybe possibly my next one would be a Garmin. Because of I feel like it's the most used and most compatible with other people. Like you can do like the challenges and kind of interact with others on their Garmins, if that makes sense. So
yeah,
if you're someone that you like challenges, or you have friends that you run with, or you know that have Garmins, like that's a cool quality. What do I want to say that they have? Like
feature. Yeah.
Feature, there you go. It's kind of cool that I get jealous about that I don't have.
so the Amazfit T-Rex, or is it Trex? It's spelled T-REX. I think it's T-Rex, like the dinosaur. Anyway,
Why would it not be?
It just seems like it should be. I don't know. It seems like it should. Why am I naming a watch after a dinosaur? It seems very odd. Anyway, it's $127, which for that price it does an insane amount for that price, right? So if you're looking for, maybe spend your money in some other things, but still want a great product, that like for the $127, you can't beat that, in my opinion. Let's see, how much is the Garmin 935 for? That Garmin 935 is probably an old model. They probably don't even make it anymore.
I was gonna say, I feel like even the base that you'd want for running, trail running, or OCR Garmin's, a couple $100.
So Garmin 935 showing up on Walmart here, $260. So
yeah,
that's what I still wear. That's what I've been wearing for years. I've had to replace the watch band a couple times. Another good stocking stuffer. You need new watch bands. I rip through watch bands every year or so from all the OCR stuff.
And I feel like, I don't know how much people like frown upon this, or some love this, so take it how you want. But I know Garmin, for instance, I can't live without Amazon, but like you can search and find Garmin's on Amazon, and then you can also do their, they have that like the buy like new option where you can get someone's used one for good quality. So if you're going that route, shop the Garmin website, and then you can maybe kind of price shop Amazon.
Yeah, I've had very few GPS watches that have stopped working. Even like, I had a GPS watch in like 2004, and it was huge. And what happened was the watch band essentially completely fell apart, and then I think I lost one. And then the other one, like when I went to go, I was like, they didn't even make that watch band anymore because it was like this weird fabric thing. So they last a long time if you're looking for an investment.
Yeah, I definitely never just gotten one because mine stopped. I just got one because I wanted a new one or needed the upgrade.
Yeah.
So good investment, good gift, like a good Santa gift or something like that.
Gonna jump to some stocking stuffers on our way to the head, but rock tape, highly recommend as a stocking stuffer, right? Like I keep that in my race bag. Very useful, very versatile for like whatever's aching you. And then they've got like Rock Sauce Fire and Rock Sauce Ice, which is essentially icy hot, or the icy version and the hot version, which feels a lot stronger than like a normal icy hot. So those are really good stocking stuffers if anyone's looking for like a little thing to add. And then they sell them in like little sample packets too. If you're someone who wants to like travel a lot, you can buy these like little like sample packets, and then you have like your day of race or exact post race product there.
I think Yoked would be another good stocking stuffer.
Yoked is a good stocking stuffer, yeah, because they make those little packets.
Yeah.
They also
look at me. Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. They came out with a jug this year, kind of like you can buy like a protein jug full of.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Or was that last year? That was last year, I think. But it was.
Well, do they still do those packets things?
They still do the packets. I like the packets because you just kind of throw one in your bag. You don't have to like scoop it into a little baggie or anything like that.
Well, and then are you? I don't know. I'm not. Well, I guess I'm still affiliated. I don't even know, but just a random thought that like CBD is a big thing. So I do know I used to be a part of Venga CBD, but I know between the different CBD brands there are good stocking stuffers, because I know they all have like travel items. And then Venga, for instance, their CBD, they have a energy caffeine drink with CBD in it, but they come in those little like single serve packets. So those are good for your stocking. And you said rock tape, but what's the they have a hand salve, don't they? Rock.
Oh,
I love that on my hands.
Yeah.
I'm out of it. So whoever's listening, when you want to send me some for my Christmas present.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm not gonna get
rock
you
rub.
a secret
Rock rub.
Santa.
Rock
Yeah,
rub.
rock rub.
Yeah.
So I was walking back to my room to try and find it right now, but I just got really sad. I'm gonna miss you as a secret Santa again this year.
Yeah. Get you every year.
Yeah.
I don't have a strong opinions on CBD. The Army is still weird about people using it, so I think we're still technically we're not allowed to use it. So I have not used it at all.
Well, that's what I like it. I have like yays and nays, so I like it for various things. So that's why I think it varies. If you're looking for a stocking stuffer, if you know people that like CBD, I will check out the various OCR brands because they have cool things for your stocking at least.
I'm curious to see what continues to get marketed at is in like 5 years, because right now I feel like it is the snake oil of everything. Where it's like, oh, you have trouble sleeping? Try some CBD. Oh, you have trouble
Yeah.
waking up? Try some CBD. Oh, you have pain? Try CBD. You don't have enough pain? Try CBD. It's like, well, you can't do everything. Like,
Well, and that's kind of where I am, is that like I like it for just like a calming effect,
okay.
like honestly. So all the other ones to me, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I can't answer properly because I'm like skeptical in a way of like, is it real or like a thing, like I kind of feel like you kind of agree. Like, I don't know, like, is it really doing what you say it is, or is it all a head thing? But I feel like
I'm sure there's
sort of
some validity. I'm sure there's a little bit of placebo, a little bit of validity. I just kind of curious to see what like, the research is probably out there. I haven't not dug into it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So,
any other stocking stuffers?
So not a stocking stuffer, but I mentioned earlier, like sometimes I don't like stuff, and there's, if you're looking for a single gift that's good for someone that's not a physical product, but is athlete related, like Inside Tracker is an absolutely great resource. We've talked about them on the podcast, and they give you a lot of data. Another great resource is you can essentially buy a race entry for someone, or if you're an athlete and you're like, well, I don't know what to ask for. You can ask for someone to quote unquote like sponsor you for a race, right? So, you tell them, for whatever on your wish list or your email, whatever, however you send out what gifts you want. You're like, all right, it costs X amount of dollars for a Savage race. If you buy me a race entry, I'll send you, a picture on the day of. I'll tell you how I did, and I'll tag you in the, post. Kind of like, so it's not just like, hey, you bought me something and I completely forget about it, but like, you actually make that person who gave you that gift of that race, you actually kind of make them feel included and make them feel like, oh, that was kind of a cool experience on the gift giver's part too, because they got to see the result of the gift you gave them, versus like giving them something and then, they don't talk about it and you never get to see them use it per se.
Yeah, actually sharing the experience.
Right. Sharing this. And then it may even make you run harder, right? If you're like, all right, well, and
someone's watching.
Aunt Nana bought me this race entry. I got to run for her or whatever, Yeah, someone's watching. Gives you a little bit of that external pressure to perform. All right, we'll jump ahead real quick, and then we're probably going to wrap it up because I got to get going in a minute.
Well, I don't have much for the head. Well, okay, I won't mention them again. Gooder sunglasses. That's my go-to sunglasses for everything anymore. They've got fun, and not affiliated anymore. Still recommending them though. So they're like known for their no bounce, no slip, and they've got crazy fun models. So you basically can match your sunglasses to anything and everything you could ever imagine, and then you can literally like headbang in them. So going over obstacles, they stay on your head basically. And for the price point, if they happen to fall off or get crushed or lost in like the water pits or whatever, you're not going to be super upset because they have models for $25 and $35 versus people that I don't know why run in Ray-Bans and everything, because we've found those in the pits every race. So yeah, that's my go-to sunglass, and I don't really do anything else for my head anymore. As far as headbands, not so much anymore. I kind of outgrew those after the first few years, and I do have a hat I recommend if you're looking for a good running hat, generic. Guess what? Mud Gear has they have a tack hat, which I love it. It's black. Yeah. So it goes with everything, but like you can put a patch on it is what a tack hat is. So like you can change your patch out for whatever you want, a brand or a race or a funny saying. So sorry to mention them again, but yes, Mud Gear has a hat.
Yeah, I'd second that. I wear my strength and speed hat and the Mud Gear tack hat. I alternate between the two. And again, I like the tack hat because of that patch feature, right? So like right now I have the Tiga Tactics, that martial arts company with that. I got links all over strength and speed in the fighting tab there if anyone wants to know more about them. But I got the Tiga Tactics patch on there right now. And then like if you're going to a OCRWC weekend or the World's Toughest Weekend type thing, and you're going to wear, people are going to see you multiple days, you can, and you want to, it turns into like a fashion show. It feels like it sometimes. Yeah. So like you can bring one hat and just like, several patches and change your patch out each day.
Exactly.
Because it really does, like when you go to OCRWC, I feel like people take notice of like what they're going to wear on Friday and Saturday, and what are they going to wear to the pre and post race events, like, showcasing whatever they've done and their like recent accomplishments or whatever.
Oh yeah, it's a badge of honor. So Mudgear hat, and it's like not blatantly Mudgear. It's just black, and on the back, Mudgear like stitched in there in black. So you're incognito, but representing a cool brand. But then you can represent whatever else also. So those are my go-to. And then I guess who makes? I mean, I do like the brand that strengthens me. Is that Boko?
So the Boko one was the white one with the one Jake Deal designed.
Yeah.
And then the other one was just from Custom Ink. I don't even know what it was. That's the one.
Yeah, I have a couple Boko hats. So it's more of like the trucker style, like wider brim, soft front, and then mesh back. So if that's the style of hat you're looking for, I'll recommend Boko. But Mudgear for another type of hat. I don't wear any other hats for OCR necessarily. And good sunglasses. That's all I got. Mic drop.
So I've tried to do headbands several times, and I'm like, oh, this is a cool headband, I'm gonna wear it, and then I buy it or like get it, and I wear it like once, and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't know. It's just like I've got some really like I like my Continuum headband, and I've got like this one of like from Sleeves, which is what the old Strength and Speed jerseys were.
Oh yeah, yep.
Where it's like this lion sitting on a throne. He's like he's like a knight kind of thing. I bought it because it kind of like looks like CTG. Or Battle of the Lions, right? Stick with the lion theme, and I never wear it, so it's cool looking though.
Headbands for me were like when I was newer in OCR was one of my like staple items to kind of coordinate my outfits and like tie it all in together. And I just felt cool, and then now I just kind of have to like grab what's comfortable and convenient, and that just is like the last item that I think about anymore.
Yeah.
But they help with the hair, so and stuff like that. But,
all right, last any final recommendations for stuff?
No, I'd honestly, like you said, I mean, if none of this sounds good to you, you really can't go wrong with a race entry gift card for someone type of thing. So pick a race, get someone to an OCR, for someone that has never been. If you've got a friend that has never been, and instead of buying them any of this gear, because what are they going to do with it if they've never been to a race? Buy your friend a race entry and take them along with you.
I like that one. And then you're growing the sport too. I really like that one.
Yeah. So, or like someone's kid, maybe you don't have a kid, but you have a friend and like they don't race, but they've got a teenager or a tween, adolescent, even younger kids. Like, come on, that's who we need to keep getting to the sport. So none of this gear sounded good. And if we said Mudgear too many times, then just get a race entry.
Speaking of which, I think if you use Ultra OCR, man, I think you get like a 10% discount or whatever it is. I can't even remember how much the code gives you. 15%?
No,
I don't know.
It was 15% now, I think.
Is it?
I got one too, but I'll let you have it.
Yeah. I always forget to plug mine. So I feel like I should throw it out there once in a while. But I really like that option. It really grows the sport. And then I took my niece and nephew on a Casey Timber Challenge recently, and they really had a good time. So
like find your local race just to get people started. So I'm here, where am I? Wichita area. There's the Wichita Gladiator Dash. Also close enough for Casey Timber Challenge, all their events all year if you're local. But yeah, look up something local and try it that way. Also, it helps.
Yeah, and those are usually a little bit cheaper. Those are usually a little bit cheaper to get, especially to get someone kind of introduced into the sport. Versus, obviously I love Tough Mudder and Spartan and all the work they've done, but the price point for them is usually a little bit higher. So if you want to just dip someoe's toe in the pool, I think a local brand is a great way to go. And if you're from the Midwest, we have so many local brands. The Midwest is a black hole for Spartan and Tough Mudder. So
obviously, yeah. Well, I don't even have to plug that. So, hey, I'll just skip to before we keep rambling because I've missed this. Are you done after Tough Mudder? I know this comes out. So, are you done now?
Am I done like racing for the year? What are we saying?
OCRs for the year.
Yeah, I mean, if the Filthy Frozen Monkey is like a local one that happens in December, I might do that as long as it fits into my schedule. But then I'll be done. Yeah. Gotcha.
Good deal. I was just curious. Didn't know if you had anything crazy going on.
No. I got No, we're not ready for that. There's too many things up in the air. I don't want to say like I'm definitely doing something for summer 2023, but I don't want to say I'm definitely not. There's a lot of questions. A lot of questions. It's not ultra OCR charity though. It is not ultra OCR charity. I'll say it. I can 100% confirm that. I'm out of ideas. Don't give me any. I don't want to.
Well, I will just say that obviously I did one build / I ran a course this year, was the Green Beret, or not Green Beret, my God, Driven Games in Georgia. But I'd like to say, I don't know about you, but I'd like to say that I have an event in January. But we'll see what happens. Right?
Yeah, we'll see. Kuwait. Hannibal Race did announce they're doing a race in Kuwait January 13th. So we'll see if we make it out there for that. It's penciled into my calendar, so we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
But that's where Brenna Jost might make her premiere OCR. If not,
exciting.
I'm getting back out there, y'all. So if it's not just on the podcast, maybe I'll be on a course eventually again.
All right. I think we plugged enough brands. I got to get going. I got to pick up my daughter from school. Good seeing everyone, or good talking to everyone, whoever listening to myself, listening to me. Whatever. I got to get going.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.
Check those websites for Cyber Monday, Black Friday deals. All right. We'll catch you later.
Bye.